nothing but Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's at the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, gets back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He dies. Touchdown, 49ers. 7 Walden's 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. Gets on third down. He'll take it himself for a first down.
Left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in the post, and it's good! Touchdown! Touchdown 40! But it's second down. Ryan takes the snap, goes to slant to the left side. It's Michael, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for a touchdown!
Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back. We are here to start our off-season program, man. The 49ers season is ended, but ours is just getting started. It's time to separate the boys from the men, the mice from the cats, and the dogs from the pups. It's time, guys. Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we're on deck, and I can't wait to discuss things with you guys. So first and foremost, man, I want to shout out all my guys who are on the show today. NJ Niner Fan 499. Tony, what's going on? How you feeling, man?
What's up down there, buddy?
Chilling like a villain, man. My guy up here on the side, Wayne Breezy, what's going on, big dog?
No, he didn't pass away.
No. He's in ICU with a brain aneurysm.
Right, and I heard he was stable, but people putting RIP, but I haven't checked. So, but I'm doing good, man. It's the end of the season, you know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to get this off-season crack-a-lacking, man. We waste no time here at NBA Niners, and I can't wait to get this popping, baby.
All right, and last but certainly not least, my guy, Stater_Niner. What's going on, man?
Right there. Hit me up.
Oh. Give it to him, baby. Let's go. Let's go, huh? Y'all can't even tell we not in the same room, huh? What? His comes with that cool-ass background, and I'm sitting over here with, my Christmas decorations and stuff still up. Hey, did you guys take your trees down yet, by the way?
I did.
Yeah?
Right before New Year's.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't tell you guys. Mine is still up.
One time I rocked with my tree all the way to February, decorated that junk for Valentine's Day and everything.
Nice.
Try to tell you.
You must have. Never mind. I won't say what I was gonna say.
It was a white tree, then you put the red stuff around it. You know what I mean? It kind of looked fire, yo. All right.
Sure. Listen, guys. If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, we want to thank you guys for checking this out. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that like button. Also, subscribe and turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Twitter and Snapchat. That is Nothing But 9, the number 9, ERS, Nothing But 9, ERS. We have Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitch. That is Nothing But Niners, which is the same as the broken website, nothingbutniners.com. Still looking for some of you guys out there who work on websites. So make sure you guys reach out to me. All right. You saw the name down there below, right here. 49ers Mike_NFL. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. My DMs are open. I'll be honest with you guys. If I don't follow you, I don't always see them because it goes to this weird message request section. And it's full of people saying, hey, do you want to make a lot of money right now? Or are you ready for a good time? So I don't really go in that box a lot, but I will be looking for it. I know it's weird, like it's all the spam, right?
I want both of those things. What are you talking about?
Brian's gonna be that guy where, what's wrong with my cable? Why can't I change the channel? They're gonna hack in all your stuff over there, bro. But listen, guys, man, the Niners season is over. As everyone is ramping up for the postseason, we're sitting at home and we're back to normal. All right, so this is the norm for the Niner faithful, right? We're not used to being in the postseason anymore. So while we're here, it's time to talk about the season-ending conversations that our GM and head coach had. But before we do that, we have to start with the latest news. Tony, I know you have a list over there of all the latest signings that the 49ers did, and we got to talk about what they did and what they mean, because there's no game. Why the hell are the 49ers signing people? Let's talk about it, man.
Well, this is their preparation to start building the roster, the 90-man roster for 2021. Basically, it's a bunch of guys that they had on the practice squad, and I think there was 2 or 3 guys that they added off the street from another team. Just give me 1 sec. I just got to pull it up real quick.
Adonis, Obi.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, bro. I'm sorry. I have the roster moves here if you want them.
I got it right here. All right. So on the 4th, they announced that they signed Josiah Coatney, a defensive lineman who actually didn't start, but he had a lot of reps versus Seattle. Chris Edwards, a safety who was on the practice squad on and off. Jonas Griffith was an undrafted free agent from last year. Deshaun Hall is his second stint with the 49ers. He's a defensive end pass rusher out of Texas A&M. Tim Harris Jr., our 6th or 7th round draft pick from 2 years ago. Josh Hoykett, the fullback, an undrafted free agent last year from Fresno State. Jawan Jennings, wide receiver, 7th round pick from Tennessee. Dakota Shipley, the guy we picked up from the Canadian Football League. He's an interior offensive lineman. Mike's boy, Kevin White, is back. Isaiah Williams, who actually got dressed the last 2 games of the season because he was the one who could pick up the offense the fastest. So those are guys that I just named that were on a practice squad or somewhere within the team last year in 2020. They added 3 guys that were not with the team. One of them is Adonis Alexander. He's a 6'3" corner, 205 pounds, out of Virginia Tech. He was a supplemental draft pick by the Washington Redskins, the Washington football team. He's on the practice squad. He's a big physical corner. He actually had a pretty good career at Virginia Tech, but it kind of dwindled off in the NFL. The second guy is
Obi Melifonwu.
Thank you. I had trouble with that. He's 6'4", 224. He is a freak athlete. He's a 4'4" box safety. He's
my dog.
He's a 4-year starter out of Connecticut. And listen, he's been hit with the injury bug. He was drafted by Oakland in the 2nd round, and he went Oakland, New England, and then out of the league. Once I saw this guy get a tryout with the 49ers and they signed him, I was happy. He could be a great value to special teams and potentially dime packages for the defense if he makes the roster and if he stays healthy. An interesting name, Prohl, is the son of
Here we go.
Austin
Ricky
Prohl. Ricky Prohl, the former standout slot wide receiver. He played all over the league. Great hands, great route runner, small, work the chains type of wide receiver. He's with the 49ers coming for 2021. And, it's going to be very interesting to see if any of these guys could crack the 55 for the 17-week season next year. So that's it. Those are the moves that they made.
All right. Now, of all those names on there, I heard some excitement. Tony, you called me excited about some of those names. Breezy just overreacted to one. That's my. Oh, well, let me stop barking because Niner started barking.
That's a regular reaction, brother. Reaction.
That's a Breezy reaction. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. Let me correct myself. My bad. And then Brian, man. I mean, what about you? What any names on this list stand out to you guys and why? Let's start with Brian, and then we'll work our way up, and then back over to Tony.
No, the only one that really stands out, I mean, it's cool they went and grabbed some other guys from somewhere else, but Obi is the only one I'm really excited to see. I liked him when he was coming out of college, and so I'm looking forward to see how he could fit in here, given, if they can get a full year in training camp, off season. or at least more than they had. We'll see how he goes. But we had Cyprian in here, who was a training camp monster, for that short time that we had, and then he ended up didn't make the roster. So, we'll see how that goes when you get these guys with name recognition. But I'm excited about that one. I mean, the other ones, I'm was good to see that we brought back most of our practice squad. I think those guys deserve those future contracts.
Okay. All right. Big Dog Breezy, what about you, man?
Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be a 49er. I'm calling it right now. He's going to be a Niner, bro. I'm telling you, this cat can ball out. Big dude. I thought we was going to draft him. Not that we needed him in 2017, but I thought Tart could have been gone, and this could have been his replacement. Same type of physicality guy brings to the ball, man. Guy can run downhill, tackle, do whatever it is you need him to do. I'm hoping that we can get this kid healthy. I'm hoping that he makes the roster. Marcel Harris out. Obi in, baby. Let's go. That's an overreaction.
Okay. All right. Tony, man, what about you, man? Who got the juices flowing in your brain, man? You read that and your neurons just started firing off. Tell me about it.
I'm not going to get into each individual player. I'm really looking to see Jawan Jennings take the next step in 2021 and enroll in the offense. Josh Hoykett, Juice is a free agent. Never know. I really like Prohl, and I really like Obi. So it's going to be interesting. I think Obi potentially could be the least what he can offer his team is a special teams gunner because of his 4.4 speed, and he's strong. And listen, anything more than that is a bonus. So,
right.
Like I said, he could potentially be in a dime role with his defense, and they might even try to put 10 pounds on him and make him an outside linebacker because he's 6'4", 222 or 225 right now. So it'll be interesting.
Okay. All right. I won't say that any of these names necessarily excited me. There was a name on this list that if I'm him, I'm just like, hey, Niners, KMA, man. Like, I'm out of here. Kevin White. Now, y'all know how much I went to bat for my dog, Kevin White, bro. This guy couldn't get on the field when the Niners had nobody up. Why are they playing with this man's emotions like that? Yo, just let me go, bro. I'm healthy now. Let me go try out for 7 different teams and let me go somewhere where they see my talent and they feel like I can contribute. If I'm Kevin White, I don't want no part of this, man. Am I wrong?
He didn't have to stay. It was a futures contract. He doesn't have to sign that. He can go wherever he wants. He's here because I think he was not healthy at the end of the season, and he's not going to get a bunch of looks from around the league, nor is he going to get the contract that he probably wants. So this is a good place for him to try to have that redemption year potentially.
Man, Kevin White is here because he know this team got something, and this is going to be an opportunity for him to not even make just to get a ring. That's why he's here. He's not stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's here because this team is the land of opportunity. This whole 2020 season was a wash. He stayed through the 2020 season. He made the field a couple times on a couple of kickoff returns or whatnot. Didn't return the ball, but he was on them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you right now, man, Kevin White knows where his place needs to be, and I'm glad that he's here.
He gonna get that Kyle Williams Super Bowl ring. You guys remember Kyle Williams, the guy who?
Did you just? I
shouldn't have said.
Did you just?
I apologize. It's the Pepto, man. It's the Pepto. So listen, all right, we're gonna do it. This show is gonna be a review on the season, okay? But before we get to that, we have to keep on talking about the latest news. And the latest news is this long 42-minute presser that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch had together. And so I want to ask you guys your biggest takeaways because there were some nuggets in there. There were some nuggets, and I don't want to take up all the time, so I'm going to pass this thing around again. Let's go to Tony, and then let's go to B, and then let's go up to Breezy.
About what the press conference?
Yeah, give me one of your takeaways from it. We'll keep going, but give me one of your takeaways from it.
My biggest takeaway is what we touched on right before the show kicked off. How Lynch sat there and said, we're preparing this offseason for the 175 cap. And then someone asked something about Jimmy, and his response was, we feel we don't need to restructure that right now because we have cap space. Now, I'm not a mathematician. We have approximately $21 million in cap space right now, according to Over the Cap. and one player could potentially cost you $20 million. So how do you not need cap space with 40 free agents? So something's not lining up there. That was the one thing that really stood out. And, another thing that stood out to me was the frustration, and they're ready to put this season behind them, all across the board. Mike, I know what you're going to touch on, so I'm not going to say it. But, yeah, those are my two standout.
Why does everybody think they know Mike so well? What's up? I bet you dollars to donuts that you don't know what I'm going to say.
You sure?
See, we talked earlier, so you might know, but I'm not. Shut up. All right, so
offer this man donuts. You know what he does for a living?
We're gonna.
That's crazy.
That was good. I like that. That was good. All right, so listen, man, we're gonna give it to B, but before we do, Master J with the $5 contribution. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. He says, "What up, players? The family wants to know the update on Nick. Guys, we don't have an update on Nick. Nick is on social media. You guys can hit him up. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. I think his page is private on IG, but he's on Twitter. He's on Facebook. You guys got to hit him up and see how he's doing. From my understanding, he'll be okay. That's the update that we have for you guys. All right. So it's not that we're ignoring you guys. We don't have an update. I'm sorry. So we can't really help you out much more than that. But please send him a DM. His name is 49er Faithful 365. There's no S. 49 ERS Faithful 365. You guys hit him up on Twitter. All right. His DMs, I don't know if they're open or not, but you can definitely message him. He's on there for sure. All right. Brian, your takeaways, man. You got to talk about it, man. Did you get to see the whole thing? It was long. It was long. I fell asleep on it twice while driving. I almost crashed. It was long.
No, I mean, there's a bunch of different things that I was listening to while watching that. And so, but like Tony said, the biggest thing that I took, and I'm a numbers guy. So the fact that they're operating underneath right now, at least what they're putting out, they're operating on the fact that they think that the floor for the cap's 175, and John made the statement that he doesn't need money. And I know that some people don't necessarily look at that. I think it's about the verbiage that that John used specifically with, we don't need the money yet. And if you look at, I don't know what day it is in March, but when the new league year starts, that's when they have to be under the cap. So they've got essentially 2 months to try to figure out their plan and what they're going to do. And then they can make those roster moves and renegotiate salaries if that's what they're going to do, or release people if that's what they're going to do. And so I'm on board with the fact that they're working at the 175, because they can't speculate that it's more, and they shouldn't, because they don't want to put us in a position where they're signing players that they can't afford to keep. And so, although I think that some of the other verbiage that we heard from other pressers, not that one, that there's some players that are willing to come back, maybe not for a discount, but definitely to have their contract structured in a way that they can be here for this season and then get paid later. But yeah, that was the big part that I took away from that, was just how John was talking about the cap and how they had planned to move forward, and just reiterate with Jimmy, obviously, that's their plan to stay here or to keep him here. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but I think that's the situation that they're in. And I read an article today that somebody thinks that there's a couple of people who think that they're just hyping Jimmy up so they can trade him, increase his value, which, I can't say that that's not true, because I don't know what the circumstances are, but my guess is they're going to keep him for the year. So,
okay. All right. Breezy, did you hear it?
Like y'all said it all. Out of those 42 minutes, that's what it was about. It was about Jimmy Garoppolo. It was about Jimmy G. They asked both of them at different times. They seemed like they were in agreement on what they wanted to do as far as Jimmy Garoppolo's going forward. Both of them pretty much basically just said that he's the quarterback they plan to rock with. I think they threw the word plan or intend or something like that going into 2021. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's their guy as of right now. We all know the language. We all know the wordplay. Jimmy Garoppolo still under contract. You just heard Tony talk about the salary cap and all those types of things. So it's going to be pretty amazing to see what happens when the team cuts Jimmy Garoppolo and the fans go crazy. Or will they not go crazy? Like, It's going to be crazy. So at the end of the day, we cut Jimmy Garoppolo, what, post 6-1? How much money do we save? Like, we save a lot of money on the cap. So,
You save a lot right off the bat. You don't have to wait 6-1 on his contract if you
you
decide
ain't even got to wait 6-1. You cut the guy, you get that money, you sign Trent, you sign Verrett, you sign Witherspoon, and you possibly sign Juice. There we go. We'll save that for the next show. You draft a quarterback. And then Rosen will take the keys to the range until the quarterback's ready.
All right.
We shall see.
All right. So listen, this man said, all right. There was a lot in this presser. And I liked how they bounced stuff off of each other. But I think my biggest takeaway from all of this was how Kyle chose to not be committed to Jimmy Garoppolo. It was kind of put to bed in the beginning of the presser, like Jimmy's our guy. We're gonna like we haven't restructured Jimmy because we don't have to. But like they kept going, they kept prying, and he went right back to it. If we can upgrade at the position, we're gonna upgrade at the position. It's like
that's the same blanket statement that Kyle says and John says at every press conference when they ask, right?
Yeah.
So that's nothing new.
But it's how he just kind of said it. Like that wasn't really the question. Like Matt Mayoko asked, why haven't you restructured Jimmy's contract yet? And that's how we ended up with the whole we're not strapped for money now, or we don't need the cap space right now. That's what the comment was. Like we don't have to do that now. And he's right. They can restructure Jimmy whenever they want. There's no rush to do it. They can wait until they find out what the cap space is going to be, da-da-da-da-da. But, it was weird hearing him say that, but you have a guy like Juice at his presser crying because he says, I want to be here, and the team said they want me here, but, the cap situation, and we don't. I turned that shit off so quick. I didn't get past the first 2 minutes of Kyle Juszczyk's presser. I swear on everything. I turned that shit off. When he started crying up there, I turned it off. You want to know why?
Yeah, but he handled that shit well. He was like, you got me. It's like,
no, it's just like, bro, if you want to be here and they want you here, you shouldn't be talking about cap space.
Sure.
Seems pretty simple to me. So I don't want to hear anything else that's coming out. I'm not saying that he doesn't feel some type of way and all that stuff, but you can't pee on me and tell me it's raining.
Yeah, but if you when you watch that presser with John and Kyle, when he got asked the question about Juice, because I don't know her name, but the female reporter who was there specifically said about how Juice had gotten emotional during his presser.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see the change in John just in how he was holding himself together. And he actually started fiddling with his pin that was in front of him, which he wasn't doing before that. So I think that there is probably some anxiety about that position and the fact that I'm just given those two interactions, he's probably not coming back. If they could work something out, great. But just given how those interactions went, it's telling, I think, to an extent.
You had that. And then the other thing that I took away from the presser was Kyle's blue bottle of water that had no label on it, but the drink was blue, but it was see-through at the same time, and a water bottle. I thought that was interesting. Just something I was looking at. Never saw him touch it, but I was driving while listening to it, so I don't know if he ever actually touched it or not. Did you guys see the bottle? Anybody see Kyle's bottle? What was he drinking? Somebody tell me.
I wasn't paying attention to it.
Nobody. Okay. All right. You know why I notice stuff like that? Because I have an aunt that drinks Sprite, but it's always purple inside the green bottle. And I'm like, Auntie, you can't do that in public. That's illegal. Like, you can't do that. And she's like, it's Sprite. It's purple. It's not Sprite. Stop telling me it's Sprite.
That's scissor. That's yeah. Sorry, Auntie, but that's that scissor. Sipping on some scissor.
Right. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and get to the show, man. I'm sorry. I've been goofing around, but the pressures were interesting. I encourage everybody to go back and watch them. There were a lot more to take away. I promise you guys, there was a lot more to take away than just what we talked about here. But it's a really good presser. They talk about a lot of the different positions. They talk about the mindset and how they're going to attack this offseason. And so they tell you, we got to deal with what comes up first. Kyle said he's not really thinking about losing guys because as of this moment, everybody's here. And so, one thing everyone has to think about is doesn't matter what the fans say and what, whatever says, one person makes the decision whether or not Robert Saleh is going somewhere. He said, so I'm not going to sit here and act like these guys are gone. They're all here right now. That's how I'm going to conduct myself. So what we're going to do here is a 4-part show. We're going to get down to the meat and potatoes over here. We have offense, we have defense, we have special teams, and we have coaching. Okay. Now, guys, how do y'all want to do? Do we all want to give a little bit of tidbits on each one of these? Does one guy want to take one part? How do you guys want to break this down?
No, I think we should all touch a little bit on each part. I mean,
okay.
That way you get different points of view, maybe.
All right. I like it. So let's start with the big elephant in the room and go with offense. We're going to give Tony the floor first. Again, this is not grades. This is just a reflection of the offense this season. How you thought they did, anything that stands out to you that you want to touch on, positive, negative, or anything in between.
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, I think Jeff Wilson ran hard. I think C.J. Beathard managed the game as best as he could. Made a couple nice throws, a couple deep shots he took. Overall, the offense looked good. I mean, it didn't score a lot. They were doing the field goal thing, but they moved the ball. And that's something that this team struggled with. I think Tomlinson had a pretty good game. I think Brunskill played pretty well, and McKivitz, I think the interior line played pretty well. The right tackle spot is the right tackle spot. School had a couple good plays, but then he had a couple bad plays. So with that being said, I mean, I think we saw a different offense this week, maybe because of CJ. It was more of like the true prototypical West Coast offense, rolling the pocket, like the, receivers coming this way, action fake, and they come underneath and dump it off in the flat. So it was a positive thing, but the most important thing, like my biggest take on this is all season, different quarterbacks, different types of offenses, they competed, they never gave up. Seattle was the better team, clearly, obviously, due to the injuries. But I just like how they controlled them up until, 8-9 minutes of fourth quarter. They just –
boy, that sounds familiar. Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to say that out loud. Go ahead.
You said it. And you wanted to say it. So.
But, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you were reflecting on the whole season also. So, okay, yeah, you did that. Breezy.
Yeah, man.
Your offensive takeaways from this season, man.
I thought the offense was, I hate to use the word inconsistent because that's what it was, but I think it was consistent as it could be due to all the injuries, all the COVID sickness, all the people that were just, we couldn't be on the field at the same time. Can you imagine what this offense would look like if we just had all the starters on the field at the same time? I mean, week 1, we didn't even have Debo. Right? Can you imagine how a defense would have to game plan when you have all these intricate weapons that you don't know how Kyle is going to use, at his leisure? It was just an unfortunate season, man. It was just crazy. But overall, man, I thought the offense definitely here's what the offense did. Even though I didn't think that they would score a lot of points, each and every week, I thought the 49ers could win. And I was excited to watch them play. There was not one week on this show that I pick a team to go against the Niners because I just thought just that 1 week, Kyle Shanahan would dial up one person to just dominate, and it couldn't happen. And I think because of the quarterback position, not having your main guy play the position was the reason why a lot of stuff didn't happen. And then again, due to injuries, it was just crazy. So overall, if I had to grade the offense, I mean, we're talking offensive line too, man. If I had to give the offensive line a grade, an offensive grade as a whole, I would say like a really low B-, which is like a C+. So however you want to look at it, 80, 79. It's in that area.
All right. Okay. I'm curious. If you want to be a positive person, do you take the C+, or are you being
this is the half glass
the B-? I don't know how that works.
No, this is exactly how it works, bro. That's why I did that. So if you want to be positive, you go 80. If you want to be negative, you go 79. It's that simple. Okay. Is that blue bottle, dog?
No. This is just club soda. This is just This is just
I'm
regular
about to
club
call your
soda
aunt.
from the local store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. All right, B, man. Your thoughts on the offense, man. I know we kind of did a show similar to this, where we graded the offense, but we have the final game and we got the chance to look at everything, and we saw some adjustments and we saw a different game plan altogether. What were your thoughts on the offense as a whole, not just last week, but in general from this season, man?
No, I thought throughout the season they were just able to, regardless of the situation they were in, they were always able to find a way to compete, like Wayne was saying. So even when you're talking about your third, second string guys, pulling guys from the practice squad, every time they had to make adjustments like that, they were still competitive, and it made the games fun to watch, even though they may not have been the guys that we wanted to see out there. I think that the one piece of this offense is the offensive line. To me, that is the one piece that has to be addressed this offseason. The quarterback position, I'm good with Jimmy if that's what they decide to do, if they fix his numbers and get them right. I just don't see a whole lot of other options out there unless you're going to draft, and I do not want to see the 49ers trade away their future to get a potential great quarterback. I'd rather stick with the game manager who has 24 wins, and whatever he's got, 6 losses or something like that. And so I don't think that necessarily is my concern throughout the season. I think it's just the O-line. I mean, and I know with the injuries and, having Richburg out and having, other guys have to fill in, Brunskill, Garland throughout the year. It just, their ability to overcome the adversities they're facing, I thought that was great. And it showed that, last year we talked a lot about, not we, but as people, as fans of the 49ers, just the depth of this team. And I thought this year they really were able to show that wasn't any BS. That's how it is. This team was built like that. And those backups were able to come in and hold their own, and some of them shined very brightly. And so, other than the offensive line, I got nothing really bad to say about this team. You put backup quarterbacks in there to do starting guys' job for half the season. You're going to get what you're going to get. That's the caliber of player, unfortunately. You don't sign 2 starters to a team. That's just not how it works.
Yeah. Well, this team, when I think about the offense, I feel like I was a little hard on them when we did the grading show because they used more than 9 offensive linemen this year. They used more than 7 combinations of starting wide receivers. They use more than 5 combinations of starting running back or rotation of running backs, 3 different quarterbacks, almost 4. Like this team really, really went through it. And when I say I was tough on them is because you have to factor in the circumstances and the situations. And this team played well enough offensively for me to be disappointed. That says something. When you're disappointed, you have to have expectation. It's just the way it is, right? You have to have some sort of expectation. So there was some like this last game. I didn't really have an expectation. I just knew like we weren't going to win that game, right? But it came a point in time during the game, and I'm like, oh, come on, no, we were so close, we're right there, So it's like they played well enough in almost every game where you were invested enough to be let down, even though if we were honest with ourselves, if you just started a game and you saw the Niners are going to be without this many players, forget the week inactives, just the IR list. You know what I'm saying? If you could just see that over and over, you would know better than to get your hopes up about wins. And yet they didn't have the worst season in Shanahan's history, even with all those injuries on offense. So, I think they played well. I think that the offense was I won't say a reflection, but it was a resemblance of Kyle Shanahan. So that lets you know what Shanahan can do if he had some consistency. And I'm not talking about all over the team. Injuries are going to happen. But, man, give Shanahan a quarterback that he wants for 13 or 14 games, and this team is going to win 10 games. That's just what they're going to do with Kyle Shanahan. That let me know that I don't want a offensive coordinator also. I think that when you step back and you reflect, you got to give it a lot of credit to Kyle Shanahan. All right. Any other thoughts on there before we move to the defense?
No, I just had one quick question for Tony. I don't know if you can talk to this, but I know that sometimes in the past we've had like defensive ends. They get together with other defensive ends in the league. Is there any way you think that McGlinchey gets with some decent pass pro tackles and learns how to do that this offseason?
I mean, I would hope so. I mean, as a run blocker, there's two different styles of play in run blocking and pass blocking. Run blocking, you're firing off the line with your pads low, and you got your guy and you're just blowing them out of the way. That's pretty much in the zone blocking scheme. It's like, you're stepping play side and you're just blowing people down the field so the back can make their cut off of your blocks. So when you flip it to the pass protection, it's kind of like it's a big time. It's number one, it's a mirror drill, and you have to have good footwork on your kick steps. So if you I'm doing it right now, but if you sit on your chair, right? No, seriously. If you sit on your chair and you split it with your one right leg off, and then your left leg is in front of you, that's like a pass set. But obviously you're not sitting in a chair, but you're almost replicating sitting in a chair, and you're bulling your chest out and you have your hands here to punch. But his biggest problem that I've seen on film is in game tape, he's a lunger. And believe me, if they see you're a lunger on tape, you're going to have a very long day. So I think he needs to work on his skill set, his technique definitely. I think he is talented. I think he could do it. He proved it. But for some reason, his play really dipped in the pass protection this year. I also personally, nothing against him, I know he wanted to get in better shape, but he lost way too much to play right tackle in the NFL and weight. So that's just my opinion on it.
Did you see his presser? Did you hear what he said about that? Because he
I didn't get to watch. I'd watch Jimmy's, and then I watched Jimmy's, Kyle's, the group, and then that was it.
He said he weighs 5 pounds different than he did last season.
Man, listen. If
that's what he's saying is the truth. I'm saying that's what he said during his press.
It could be true, but the difference between muscle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay. So, guys, we got to talk about the defense now, man. It's a hot spot. It's probably the pride and joy of the team this year. So let's do this again in the same order. Your thoughts on the defense, man? Let's start with Tony.
The defense, okay. Another unit decimated by injuries. Your top 2 pass rushers gone. D4 was a question mark to begin with. And, Bosa tearing the ACL. Thank God it was a clean tear in week 2. He'll be ready for the next season. So with that being said, you lost your top 2 guys. Your secondary, Sherman, was out after, week 2 or 3? He was out for a 10-game hiatus. Tart went down. It's just like the interchanging corners, the different looks. Jason Verrett had a very good year. I'm really happy about that. I hope we can bring him back. Akella Witherspoon had an in the beginning of the year. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Finished very strong. Very, very, very strong. In my opinion, I would love to bring him back, but I don't know behind the scenes what's going on. Manuel Mosley played okay. Could have played better. But again, I'm not the coach. I'm not there. I think our linebacker core played very well. I think, honestly, next year, potentially, we could have the best linebacking core in the NFL. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be Azeez Al-Shaair, it's going to be Warner, and it's going to be Greenlaw as your starting linebackers. I think Aziz's game stepped up to the next level. I think he's playing – I think he had 2 huge tackles versus Seattle. So I think the game is kind of slowing down for him. Our defensive line, all the kudos in the world to Kerry Hyder. Great pickup, 1-year deal. Kocurek, I was reading an article today. Kocurek literally jumped on the table and said, bring this guy here. And you know what? Thank God he did, because I don't know where we would be if we didn't. But again, decimated by injuries. Next man up, they kept performing. Givens, Street had a couple solid plays. Knocked Drew Brees out on a phony-ass penalty, but whatever. Armstead had his games. So DJ Jones. So, every time we needed somebody to step up, they stepped up. I think Saleh had an excellent season for what he had to work with. So I'm very impressed with our defense. So that's all I got about the defense.
Okay. All right, Wayne. What you got, man? We have a Terra Dome $4.99 contribution. Draft J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina. Gamecocks, baby. Hey, we don't control the draft.
We draft another Gamecock, bro. It's like we're gonna get another one. Like how it was when we kept drafting Oregon players, right? Listen, man. Thank you for the contribution, bro. Look, the defense probably gave us 2 questionable games off season. 2 out of what? 14 games, 16 games isn't bad. You know what I'm saying? Did I say that right? 2 out of 4, whatever.
16.
But
yeah,
2 out of 16 games isn't bad. Like, and I even think in those 2 games, if the right calls were made, the defense wouldn't have blew up like that. I'm talking about the Miami game. If they would have just pulled a guy a little bit earlier, or if Akella would have said, "Coach, put me in earlier," or whatever that situation was, I think the 49ers could have rebounded from that particular debacle that happened in that game. But overall, man, with a depleted defense, with no pass rush, minus Kerry Hyder, I thought the defense looked really legit. And they were damn near top 10 all season. I want to say they were top 10, but they weren't top 5. So that's why I say top 10. You know what I'm saying? From the secondary, with the struggles in the secondary, Richard Sherman being out, allowing those other guys to get in there, get that work in there. I'm with Tony, man. Like I don't know why the team wouldn't make Witherspoon an offer. I don't think 2 or 3 games is going to get him the bank from other teams, especially since he didn't play much. And that could have been part of Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch's plan, yo. Look, man, I need you to suck for a long time because we're going to bring you back here, and we're going to figure something out in the long run. Who knows what goes down behind the scenes? I know my conspiracies are crazy, but I thought the defense overall did their thing, man. I thought they kept the teams in every single game. Every single game, even in that Dolphins game, I thought that we still could have had a shot to win the game had the offense been able to be productive. So, takeaways is a plus. That went up from interceptions to forced fumbles to recovered fumbles. Talk about Al-Shaair, bro. Tony, you said that Al-Shaair and Greenlaw will be the linebackers. But you were already just saying, Fred Warner's the linebacker too, right? Because that's what because you didn't mention his name, so I'm just curious.
I did.
Yeah, I said Warner.
Yeah. You did say Warner? Okay, I didn't hear you say Warner. All I heard Greenlaw and Shire. Look, Shire balled out in Seattle. I don't care what nobody's saying. Not only was he all over the ball and making his tackles and rapping, he was playing pass coverage, and he had a pass deflection in that game as well. Look, there's one thing DeMeco Ryans does is teaches these linebackers how to play coverage. Fred Warner's coverage skills is up to 10 levels. We already know Greenlaw came in covering well. He does it well against Seattle. And now Al-Shaair is getting that work in there. I think we're great at linebacker. We still might draft a guy, but I think the linebackers spots are solid and solidified for the 49ers going forward. Only question I have in the future is how are we going to do it without Saleh? I guess that waits to be seen. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I thought the defense balled out and kept this team in just about every game.
Okay. All right. Hey, give us
My
a breakdown, man.
Probably not much different than Tony's and Wayne's, and it's going to be similar to what I said about the offense. The ability for our second and third string guys to step up and into places just was astounding this year. Regardless of the coaching and how all that went down, to bring in the players that we had, or to lose the players that we had, and to bring in the replacements that we had, and still be an overall top 5 ranked team statistically, that's amazing to me that we were able to do that. But I also think that it shows that there are some key names that are on this roster that we don't need because we can replace them with players we did throughout the year. I'm not saying that they're absolutely as great, but there are some individuals who are going to move on from this team and it'll be just fine. People might like them, but we don't necessarily need them because we found players that can at least do, to maintain what they brought to the field. And so I was really, really kind of excited to see that, and next year when we have Bosa back and whatever they decide to do at the other end, I think this line is going to be awesome. And I can't say that any more than that. I did read an article about how this potentially was completed, and I don't know if Tony or Wayne or Mike, any of you guys read that article and could say who wrote it, because I can't remember. But they basically said that Saleh had to increase his blitz packages throughout the year, and that is how they were able to accommodate for losing that blue chip talent.
Yeah,
and that's also why in the fourth quarter we didn't have the same defense that we had in the first three quarters, because they were playing, at a much higher, or being asked to play at a much higher level than you normally would, than Saleh normally would if your regular stars are out there. But overall, I was impressed with what we were able to accomplish with the team, with the players being able to step up and fill those holes as best that we could, and still be ranked where we finished.
Okay. All right. So, I would think when we look at the defense, man, phenomenal. I loved it. I think Robert Saleh proved that he's the best defensive coordinator in the league this year. I think that he showed that if you give him enough time, let him know his personnel, and if he doesn't know them, let his position coaches know them well. One thing that we saw a lot this year was of guys getting their guys. Chris Kosirik getting his hider. We saw the secondary coach being willing to say, hey, let's try this combination of players. Well, let's try this way this time. Let's do this and let's do that. D'Amico Ryans and the linebacker coaches put on a clinic with how they had the Niners linebackers performing this year. It showed a lot of trust from Robert Saleh, and I'll be honest with you guys, I am 100% convinced Robert Saleh is the guy. I'm 100% convinced he's the guy. So, it's not a big deal about Robert Saleh being the guy, because hot take here, I think Robert Saleh is coming back. And the reason I'm on this is because I can't think of the last time a defensive-minded coach was hired and was successful in his first 2 or 3 years. And I don't think Robert Saleh is going to get that long if he's not successful early. Robert Saleh doesn't have the pedigree or the notoriety of a Vic Fangio. And there are people who are saying Vic Fangio should be gone from Denver. Saleh's leash is going to be much, much shorter. I think that when you step back and you look at the guys who have been successful, it's more often than not offensive coordinators and offensive play callers who are successful when they move on to become head coaches or coordinators early. Defensive-minded guys, you tend to have to take a while to see it, and I'm just not sure that Saleh is going to get that same kind of respect. We have to remember where he's coming from and how quickly he's going up through the rankings. So I just don't think that it's going to happen just yet. I think his name will be a hot name out there, but I just don't think Robert Saleh is going anywhere. All right. But the defense was very, very good. I liked it. I liked how they worked people in and out, the different combinations we saw. I talked about the constant turnover. The defensive line probably had more starting combinations than the offensive line and the running backs combined. That defensive line was all over the place this year. But we found some good guys in the midst of all that. So I loved what I saw from our defense this year. Absolutely loved it, man. This contribution from Mark Espinoza is $4.99. Says, don't be surprised if we draft a defensive end. We need to replace D Ford, and in 2022, Eric's salary is around $22 million, and he hasn't done much. And see, that's something else that I disagree with too. I think Eric Armstead had a great year. I really do. I know people are watching stats and all, but I just don't think people realize where and how Eric Armstead was asked to play this year. I think Armstead had a really good year, but that's just my opinion. Go ahead, bro.
I think he did too. I think the production, from the production standpoint, people thought he was supposed to get, all of these sacks. You got to think about what happened to the defensive line. When DeForest Buckner was traded, they drafted another guy. They drafted a rookie, Javon Kinlaw coming in the game. Not only that, Eric Armstead was asked to play a lot more with the absence of D4 being out. Then Nick Bosa is gone as well. So now it's just like, yo, you got a mad depth. You got the leader on that defensive line that Eric Armstead asked to do like 4 roles at the same time. We already knew he was inside or outside, but when did this guy get a break? You know what I'm saying? It was just like, and then some of his inside help gets hurt. He's asked to come in. Look, I thought Eric Armstead played a solid season. No, it wasn't record-breaking, but it was damn near stand-us-up-ish looking for Eric Armstead. And I guarantee you, with a better Javon Kinlaw, a guy progressing as a monster in this NFL, when cats start double-teaming everybody, I think Eric Armstead is going to be winning these one-on-ones with ease. He stayed in the backfield. He got tackles for losses. He just couldn't hit home on the high sack numbers due to other players. Just the way it is, they doubled him. Let's just call it like it is. Like that's what he did, right? And I think Eric Armstead. I don't think he was outplayed by Hyder. I think Hyder was asked to do one thing: go get the damn quarterback. Eric Armstead is asked to do several things. Go get the damn quarterback. Make sure you stop the run. Make sure you contain. Make sure, like, there's a bunch of stuff you're asking Armstead to do, and it's possible he just got overworked. I think with the guys coming back as a whole, Eric Armstead goes back to, still a leader on the line, but back to a role. I think it's going to be crazy in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Oh yeah. I absolutely love it. I love it. All right, guys, we are already at 50 minutes here, so let's try to do these last 2 here.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead. I see you.
Sorry. Real quick, just because I meant to say something about Witherspoon, and I know that you like him, and I know that Wayne and Tony think that he should come back, but the way that he progressed this season, I really have question about his mentals and his motivation. What happened?
He didn't progress this season. This is who he was last year.
The last 2 games for sure. But when he played at the end of the season, it wasn't anywhere near how it was at the beginning of the season or in the middle of the season. Anytime that he got playing time, it was nothing like it was the last 2 games. So he was motivated to either go get a paycheck or something else is going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, because I feel like his motivation, I question his motivation now.
Mm-hmm. No, I think people forget that he was playing through injury early on, because he looked like this the first 3 games of last year before that injury. And I think people forget that. And so you got to let these guys get healthy, Remember that game in Miami, the reason that they claimed that he didn't want to play was because he was battling injury all week through practice.
Right.
So he was not healthy the entire time. He gets healthy, and then you see he's back to what he was. So that's when I say, he didn't improve. I'm saying he was playing at this level, injured, played down here at this level, back at this level. I don't think that he was better than what he was at the beginning of the season last year. That's my perspective.
I see what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But I also have, like me personally, I question his motivation. What, I can't say that that's what it was. So I look at it a little differently. I don't know that it was a physical thing. I think that there's something else going on. And, he knows that he was up at the end of the year and he needs to go make some money somewhere else probably.
And we've seen guys in contract years go 8-ish. So, yeah, right. It's definitely not impossible. Let's keep this thing moving here. All right, we were aiming for 45 minutes. We kind of missed the mark here. Let's talk about special teams. I feel like this is going to be short and sweet here. Maybe not so much sweet. Short and sour? Let's do short and sour. Like on a Chinese menu? Oh, that's sweet and sour on the menu. All right, never mind. Tony, let's go with Brian first. Let's go with Brian.
I'm quick. They just need to learn how to control that ball, stop fumbling, turnovers, that kind of stuff. Other than that, we'll see. And, I don't know if Craig Kraft was told, right? He was the one that caught the fair catch and then didn't go for 30 yards. But I don't know if that's something that Hightower's teaching them, or if that was just a cerebral flatulation on his part or whatever, but that I think those are the things that need to be improved. Handling those returns better. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
All right. My thing is, I don't know if we're going to get into it tonight because we are at the 54 and a half minute mark. All the rumors of Saleh with the 2 GMs and who's Saleh going to take on his staff. I think there's going to be a big overhaul. If Saleh leaves, I think there's going to be a big overhaul of the staff. I think potentially Hightower could be replaced. It's not a knock against the guy. I know Kyle has a great relationship with him going back years. But there's zero creativity on special teams. I don't even think my knowledge, the last kick return or punt return for a touchdown was Ted Ginn years ago. And
2011.
I just feel that
Seattle.
it needs to be upgraded. They need to bring a new theory or style to it. So I definitely think the special teams could use an upgrade. And it's funny because Robbie Gould got a contract. He got COVID. They bring this Tristan guy in, and he starts banging field goals with a strong-ass leg after we signed Robbie Gould. The same thing happened last time with that McLaughlin kid. He kicked a couple good games, and then he kicked the one in the tunnel. But that's that. But it seems like they're just so quick to just jump with Gould instead of trying to find somebody. I know Gould is a lot better than these guys, but when it comes down to dollars and cents and it becomes a business decision, you kind of got to keep your doors open. So overall, I think the special teams need work.
Yeah. Breezy, your thoughts on the special teams?
You honestly want to know my thoughts about the special teams?
If you can keep it PG-13, yeah.
Okay. Special teams look really different, from getting field position. I think that's where they need a return guy. They need a specialist, a return specialist, someone that ain't asked to play wide receiver, someone that has not asked to do anything else but sit there. He needs to run a 3.9 speed, can make people miss, and can just give the offense a chance to get the ball closer to their end zone. Like that's all I'm asking. And I don't mean from the 26-yard line or the 27. I'm talking like 45, maybe to 50. Can you imagine our offense working with the shorter field almost every time they get the ball? You want to talk about high success rate in scoring? Come on, man. So it's just a little with that, and then I thought the coverage teams were pretty good. I didn't think the coverage teams were atrocious. I thought Mitch was getting the ball down there, but he could be better too. The good thing about being 6-10 is that no one had a great season other than probably Fred Warner. And he can get better at some stuff too, right? So on the special teams, it wasn't great for me. Like I thought the special teams needed to be better because I sat there and cringed every time Richie James took the ball. And then the 49ers answered my wish and they started giving the ball to other players and it was the same cringe. How on the hell of earth in the world can River Craycraft with nobody 60 yards in front of him catch a motherfucking punt? You can't do that. You can't. Are we scared? What was that? So they need help.
You just try to whisper after all that, man. All right, listen, guys. It's pretty simple for me. Special team sucks. We need a gunner on punt and kick return teams.
Put Monster back out there.
And we need a return man. And I think that's what Tony was alluding to with Obi Malafon will come and signing that deal here. We need a gunner. We lost speed. And, I'll be honest with you guys. The swag that you saw on special teams came from big hits and gunners getting down there quickly. It's a game changer. It's a field position thing. And we just didn't have it this year. I would like to see a special teams coaching change, but that'll be our transition here. Really quick, Logan Dean with a $2 contribution from a while ago. I'm glad I didn't miss it. Says Grant is a big reason people hate Armstead. Hey, from your lips to God's ears and to our screens. And then Callie says, did you guys touch on Adam Peters? I don't want to lose him. Listen, we all saw the text from Benjamin Albright. And he put that out there and he kind of scribbled out the name where you could see an A there. There are other options, number one. Number two, you guys have to remember that the Niners can still promote Peters before anything happens. So they can promote him to GM and then they can promote Lynch to what's happening in Denver, basically. So I wouldn't just count on anything just yet. And if he goes, cool. He's deserving of a position from everything that I've heard about him. I don't know the guy personally. I can only speculate on what I think he's responsible for happening in this organization. And from what I think, he's a really good guy to have around. Would it be a knock to lose him if who I think he is true? Then absolutely, it's a knock to lose him. But I don't know the ins and outs, and I won't cry over spilt milk. We got to keep going. We got to keep marching forward, whether he's here or not. So if you guys have any thoughts on it, you want to touch on it, please feel free. Nothing from B.
That's my
I
big.
can't make any
biggest fear.
comments until we know things have moved. I mean, I don't want to say anything until it's official, until things are official.
That's
Because,
my
like you're
biggest
saying-
fear with losing Peters.
What's that?
That is my biggest fear, losing Peters.
Gotcha. All right, yeah. So we'll see what happens, man. We're gonna keep our eyes on it, and as soon as it happens, man, Callie,
we lose Peters, we lose the scouting the talent portion. Like, why is that a big fear? Why can't he be
Because
replaced?
his ability to identify late round picks and undrafted free agents, he's known for that. He was known for that in Denver. If you look at Denver's roster building now compared to what it was when he was there, it's a night and day difference. We've hit on a lot of late round picks and a lot of undrafted free agents.
So Peters is responsible for Kittle, Greenlaw, all those guys.
Could be. This is why it was like so. It was a perfect match made in heaven between Lynch and him. He's the guy that's going to break down film with all his scouts and everything with Ethan Watt and all the field scouts, and he's going to say, "All right, I'm taking these 15 guys. I'm going to Lynch and Shanahan. These are the guys. You pick which one you want." Now the question is, does John Lynch do that? Now there's a big rumor going around that Martin Mayhew is in the running for the Washington GM job. So now not only are you potentially losing Peters, but now you're going to potentially lose Mayhew. So
Man, the way
that's scary. It's scary, but
I hear you.
Guys.
It is scary, but the reason they brought those guys in was because there was some concern about John Lynch being a GM with minimal executive experience. Mm-hmm. Now that he has that, they may not need those guys anymore. So, I mean, I agree with you. I would rather them here because it makes the brain trust better in-house in the club. But but you also don't want to hold anybody back from excelling in their career either.
No, I just thought they should rework something. But
sure. What happens if Mayhew becomes a GM?
We get 2 third-round picks.
Shazam!
Oh, let that cat go, dog. Yeah, let him go, man. Give me these picks, bro. I ain't attached to nobody, cause just like we can't be attached to these players. Coaches go, deuces. Nah, I get it, man. I do, yo, but I feel like the team's gonna. This is what football's all about. It's what happens when you become good, right? I mean, that's one of the not benefits, but that's one of the.
I think right now Saleh is the teetering piece that's going to flip this coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
If Saleh goes, you're going to see.
I think
a lot of changes.
I think it's the other way around. I think if Saleh goes, the coaching staff, the front office, not the coaching staff, stays intact. They might shuffle around amongst themselves.
No, I'm talking about the coaching staff.
Intact. Huh?
I'm talking about the coaching staff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who he's going to take with him?
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Callie helped us transition to that coaches section, but
yes, that's exactly what we're going to go to.
I want to go backwards. Just one caveat. So I think that this deal with Gold, I haven't seen the numbers for his new contract. I know we got the overall numbers, but not the yearly breakdown. I think it also puts the team in a good place to say, now you can go back to Chicago and trade him.
Oh, look at you. You are a cynical mofo. Look at God.
He wants to be in Chicago anyway.
Look at this guy. All right, let's see if any sites have it updated now. Let me take a look. I'm going to check right now. Robbie Gold contract.
Nothing. Spot Rack, I think, still has his 19 contract up there.
Yep. My apologies. Base salary $4.35 million. Signing bonus is $7.5. God, he made over $5 million last year. Jesus. Ugh. That's disgusting. All right, I'm sorry. Let's catch up to some of these comments, and then we're going to get to these coaches guys. All right, Tony, I think this one's for you. Tony, That's why I said I think it's for you, because he said your name twice. For 16 games, our special team set up the river run of 18 and 10 yards. Is McDaniels and LaFleur that good, or does Kyle just trust them? Does Peters get credit for the high pick misses? Ooh. Who let John Lynch pick up your boy, Solomon Thomas, huh?
Yeah,
Like I said numerous amounts of times on this show, that 17 draft was meant the first round. Honestly, I just don't understand how people are giving him heat. This staff was assembled late February during the combine. This staff was assembled because Kyle was in the Super Bowl. So I honestly think John Lynch was going to go out swinging and try to make a name for himself. We all know why he took Solomon Thomas, because he was in a class with him. He likes him. He's a good guy, blah, 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 whatever. Reuben Foster, I was the biggest fan of. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out. But I'm telling you right now, if Reuben Foster didn't have the character issues or the concerns like that, and was able to be a man and make better decisions, and stay healthy, you want to talk about a linebacker core? Reuben Foster is a talented player.
Yeah, so, but if Reuben's here, I don't think we draft Fred. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's it. I mean, the guy was at Alabama. He was lighting people up.
I still think we drafted Fred because you were. Yeah, I still think Fred would have been a pickup. But can you imagine them two on the same team?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you can't be like, oh, well, what if? Okay, well, all right. You want to knock his first 2-round picks? Look at the bottom of the draft. You have
3
Kittle. You have, I don't even remember. They took C.J. Kittle, Keller Wood. They took DJ Reed. They took DJ Jones. They took, I can't even remember. But I want you to show me a GM.
One of those DBs. Who was it? Colbert,
yeah. There's no GM in here. There's no GM in the NFL that hits consistently 50% or higher. If you hit 50%, you consider yourself lucky in the NFL draft. It's a crapshoot. Okay,
absolutely.
You're trying to project a college-based film in a college competition to the NFL without putting him on the field, trying him out, see how he handles it. It's film questions here. It's a crapshoot.
Which is why I have a lot of questions about everybody jumping on all these CBs, and and saying, or not CBs but QBs. There's a lot of unprovens out there. I mean, I know we're going to talk about the draft and that kind of stuff later, but I mean, that's exactly what we're looking at is, what you're saying, Tony, is it's hard to hit, and when you can be 50%, you're doing a good job, and I just can't see the 49ers investing a bunch of their future to take one of these quarterbacks who are unproven.
Well, we're going to get into that another show because I think Kyle identified has one or two guys in his head. I think one of them is going to be a high guy and one of them is going to be a mid-round guy. And if it's in with reach and if it's without mortgaging the team's future, because remember, 40 free agents, $175 million cap, only $20 million in cap space. Because
not even that.
Space.
You're going to have that.
They're going to need these picks to backload the roster and fill these spots. It's not a rebuild. It's just like a retooling of the roster, if you will, a reload. But they're going to have to use their picks now because now you're talking about money, and you're not going to get a cheaper player than a draft pick.
Facts.
All right, guys. Coaching. Let's wrap this show up, man. Let's get to this coaching staff. We talked about the front office a lot, actually, more than I thought we would, which is a good thing, though, because I probably should have included them here. But they did a phenomenal job. Well, never mind. Let's start with Breezy on the coaching, since he's up here now.
Quarterbacks coach.
Oh, shit. All right. Maybe we should let Breezy go first.
Why?
I see how you're about to start.
He's a coach.
He's supposed to be. You're right. Go ahead.
It's okay. Shane Davis joined his brother.
All right, look, I thought the coaching was I thought the coaching did what they could do with what they was working with. You know what I mean? Like, every week you heard me talk about Kyle switch it up, and maybe he just couldn't. Maybe there were players he just couldn't count on to do certain things, or he didn't trust. We know Kyle is if I trust you, we are Gucci gold. If I don't trust you, I'm just gonna live with whatever comes along with whatever. And I think that's what Kyle was. And that's why I think, coaching wise, Kyle's the head coach. I just want to talk about, never mind the gameplay. I thought Kyle was an A+ manager of people this season. He managed players, coaches, cities, organizations. Like he did it all. I mean, name another coach that can tell their team, yo, we can't play at home. We got to play on the road to be at home, and still get his players to ball out and play hard. I thought Kyle was a phenomenal coach. We already know how we feel about Saleh. Yeah, there's some intricate coaches in the mix. I think we need a better quarterbacks coach. I think if we're going to keep Jimmy Garoppolo, we need a coach that can get in there to tell him how to throw off his back foot. Like we need some, step into the throw or whatever. And I think if we could upgrade, I think we could upgrade everywhere on the team, but I thought that the coaching staff did the best they could do with what they were working with, if that makes sense. Okay. Except for the quarterback coach. He sucked.
I like it, bro. I think you presenting your cases very, very strongly there. Let's go. Let's go with Brian now, man. Your thought on the coaches?
Oh, I don't really have a lot to say about the coaches because we've gone over and over and over that throughout the season. I'm with Breezy on that. I think that the coaches did the best that they could do with the S show that was handed to them with injuries. So I really can't say a whole lot of negative about them other than, I think that obviously from my perspective, getting a new QB coach would be number one. But that may happen anyway, depending on how the dominoes fall, with if Saleh leaves, if he takes people, if he, who he takes. And so we'll see. During the season, I know we were pretty hard on the DB's coach. I know there was some changes happening there and people didn't like it. And obviously I spoke up about how he and Sherman were not seeing eye to eye, it appeared, at least in the practice, what we were seeing from the videos from practice and stuff like that. And I don't know if that had any fallout into how Sherman rehabilitated himself this season or didn't rehabilitate himself this season. I can't speak to that, but I think that the coaching staff did a pretty good job this year, and just making adjustments, to the position that they were put in, especially with like in this last bit here, COVID and getting kicked out of Santa Clara, to have to move your entire program to another state, and try to get things to rumble on. And, I think that they did all right with that. So we'll see how things fall out, through the off season with the coach hirings and stuff like that. So see if it gets better or worse.
Yes, sir. Tony.
I think it all comes down to when the first chip moves, and that's Saleh. I do think the special teams coordinator will be replaced. I do think there could potentially be a change at the quarterback coach with Day. But the unfortunate thing about Day, why I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen, is because Day works Kyle's quarterback camp. And there's, how he is with ties with people and stuff like that. So I just want to put that out there, that it might be where we definitely want it. He might not see it as we see it. So, Koceric, the best D-line coach in the league. Benton did the best what he could with what he had. He needs to work with McGlinchey. Bobby Turner's Bobby Turner. He's a legend as a running back coach. D'Amico Ryans, great linebacker coach. Tony Oden, the secondary coach. Reggie Bullocks is the safety coach. So it's all I think once the domino falls with Saleh, that's when everything's going to fall, and that's when we're going to go, okay, this is open, this needs to be addressed, this needs to be addressed. Yeah. Potentially, this team could have 2 new front office pieces, a new defensive coordinator, new linebackers coach, a new passing game coordinator, a new run game coordinator. There's a potential that there could be mass changes here. And this is where the 49ers have the faith in Kyle. And me and Mike were speaking earlier about this, how he added people to this staff and kind of took them off of just like basic like entry level roles, and those could be the potential replacements waiting in the wings. Perfect example, Chris Foster. He was an analyst. He was an advisor. This year he's on the active coaching staff where he is an assistant offensive line coach. Now, if Mike McDaniels leaves, does he become the run game coordinator? These are all things that are just like kind of like laying out there, and we just got to wait for that one domino to fall. I do think he will pluck some people off of staffs, so it will be interesting. But that's where we stand as of right now. So we really can't get into the coaching staff as far as who's going, who's staying. The front office, who's going to stay. Pretty much Peters is reportedly, it's not definite, but it's out there that Carolina could be the spot. So it's going to be interesting, man. That's why we tell you time in and time out, set the alerts, because it's going to be popping. So just make sure you're ready and make sure you get the notification. And listen, we could be hitting you twice a day for the next couple of days once staffs are fully developed and stuff and the front office is done. So we'll see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My thoughts on the coaching staff have all really been said already, but Wayne touched on something. I think this is where Tony thought I was going to go with my comments from the presser. Wayne commented and complimented Kyle on keeping men together, their mental space together. You can't go anywhere. You have to stay inside this hotel room. You can't even get together inside the hotel room. I found that out during the presser, that they weren't even allowed to like get together in the hotel room. I didn't know that. I thought that it was,
Yeah, there was their safe space.
Yeah, I thought that they were allowed to be in the bubble together there. No, they had to isolate from each other inside the hotel rooms. And one of the things that I heard in the presser when I was listening to it was that Jed York spared no expense. No expense. And included
that was dope, right?
And everybody who wanted to be there, as far as staff, chefs, and stuff like that. So, everyone really trying to knock this guy, Jed York, for saying he's a cheap ass and all that. You guys couldn't be more incorrect if you tried. Like, it's pretty insane to know that that's still the 49ers way. It's pretty cool to see that. You heard about that stuff when Eddie was in charge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's pretty cool to hear all that and know. And all the while, he's just been in the background. People.
Which is where he's supposed to be.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
I absolutely love it. Right. You guys spoke on my thoughts on the coaching staff, man. I think they did a phenomenal job this year, minus the special teams coach and the quarterbacks coach. Really took it away from started right there. Those were the two sore spots. I think we don't usually include these people in there, but the strength and conditioning staff, I'm so torn on them because we don't look at them as coaches, but the reason I say I'm torn, it's easy to be upset with them, right? But look at what they got out of Jason Verrett. No coaching staff in the league could get Jason Verrett on the field for more than 2 weeks. So this was a hell of a year for the coaching staff, for the training staff also. So I think that there's some give and take there, or these freak injuries or what. We're gonna have to see what next year brings, and so we'll keep our eyes on all that stuff. And that's it. That's it. I don't have anything else to say. I don't want to take up too much time. I left this comment up here from Jashawn Page. It's $25. We thank you for the contribution. But I left it up there because it's very simple. Happy New Year to all the Niner family. I really, really like that. I thought that would be a great way to end the show, man. Guys, any final thoughts on anything?
Just stay tuned, y'all, because it's going to be crazy.
Nothing from Tony. B? Nothing? All right, guys. We're going to get up out of here. You guys know the deal. Make sure those notifications are set. So you guys probably thought that you were going to get a Manscaped ad tonight, right? Nope. And that's not the sound of it. Never mind. All right. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
You got it. We out.
Tony said, I'm just going to take the whole phrase.
Yeah,